Joining me right now is Ohio Congressman. He is a member of the House Judiciary Committee. He is the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, and he is a member of the Oversight Committee as well. Jim Jordan. His book, Do What You Said You Would Do, is out on November 23rd, a must-buy. Congressman, thanks very much for being here. Great to see you this morning. It was a late night. Can you tell us what went on and where we stand today with the debt limit and all of these spending proposals?
Well, I think you asked the appropriate question. Who is in charge? Because it's surely not Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, or Chuck Schumer. It would seem to me it's Joe Manchin. It's the squad. And Susan Rice was supposedly here on Capitol Hill last night. So I don't know. Think about this. Debbie Dingell has said that Nancy Pelosi didn't know about the side agreement that Senator Schumer and Joe Manchin have had now for months. She just found out about that this week. Why was Chuck Schumer hiding that from the Speaker of the House? So I don't know who's in charge over there. The good news is this thing hasn't passed yet. Let's hope it never does, because it's bad for the American people. It's bad for our country.
So, I mean, you would think that the squad, AOC and Bernie Sanders, they know that if they don't vote for infrastructure, they're blowing up the whole economic agenda, right?
Well, yeah, but they're holding out for this crazy $3.5 trillion plan, and you got them versus the moderates. We'll see how it all shakes out. I hope what we do is what Democrats do is just fund the government at the current level. At least that saves the American people this 3.5 and 1.2, 4.7 monstrosity of spending for all kinds of crazy left-wing things. Let's hope that's the final outcome here. That'd be best for we already have record inflation because of the ridiculous spending Democrats have already done. We have crime surging in every major urban area. We have this chaos on the border. We have this, the way the world views us after the debacle that was Afghanistan, because we project weakness from the Oval Office. So all that is going on right now. The last thing we need is more crazy spending, more big government that are just going to contribute to the already high inflation.
Yeah, I mean, we got a crisis in Afghanistan, 13 of our heroes, servicemen, dead as a result of the botched up no plan to withdraw. And then you've got a crisis on the border. Mayorkas just yesterday said that he's expecting 400,000 apprehensions in the month of October. Okay, we've been averaging 200,000. He's expecting 400,000 this month. And then, of course, you're looking at a potential for an economic crisis as well. Here's a line from a Cornerstone Macro report today. The risk of default is highest it's been since 2011. Will the U.S. default, Congressman?
No, that's not. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, the debt ceiling will get raised. It's passed the House already, so that I think that'll happen. What we don't want is the Republicans aren't going to help with that, because we're not the ones advocating and doing all this crazy spending. So I think that will happen. How the Democrats do it, they're in charge. I mean, this is amazing. I saw some reporting yesterday. Oh, Republicans are failed to deal with the funding the government and the debt ceiling issue. Last time I checked, Joe Biden's in the White House. Chuck Schumer's control is the leader of the Senate, and Nancy Pelosi Speaker of the House. How can that be Republicans' fault? Only the mainstream press would say it that way, which again just underscores how ridiculous the mainstream press has become.
Congressman, I want to ask you about the Durham situation, John Durham, but let me just run this by you for a second, because we've talked a lot about China. There is a report that the U.S. government is buying drones from China, okay? The FBI and the CIA apparently buying drones from China. Are they living under a rock and not understanding that the CCP is going to use those drones to surveil America?
Yeah, look, I don't know if that's the case, but think about it. First, we leave $90 billion of equipment and weapons in Afghanistan, and now there's a report out that this is going on. I mean, it's almost like you're no longer shocked at the ridiculous things we see in the Biden administration. So we'll see if that's the case. Let's hope not. But, I had someone text me the other day, a friend text me the other day. He says, I wake up every day thinking it can't get worse, but by the end of the day, Democrats prove me wrong. I mean, that is now how Americans feel, this unsettled feeling that so many Americans have when they see what the Democrats are doing in every policy area. It is truly frightening. And so, again, let's hope this crazy spending package doesn't happen, and we get back to some kind of level of sanity in the government.
Well, part of the issue is those very people who abused power in 2016 are now back in power, right?
Yeah.
Jake Sullivan is the NSA right now for Joe Biden, and he was the one peddling this Russia hoax. So let me ask you about the special counsel, the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, revealing that there were 200 errors in how the FBI applies for FISA surveillance warrants. It report coming out of an earlier probe on the FBI and how they created or went along with Hillary Clinton's creation of Russia collusion. Tell me about John Durham. There are obviously missteps in the surveillance application targeting former Trump advisor Carter Page. And do you expect that we will see more indictments from John Durham?
I do. Let's do the Durham report first. Remember, when Durham, I think John Durham gets the big picture. I mean, if you look at that indictment of Zussman for a false statement that he made to the FBI, I think it's really interesting when you read that indictment. But he gets the big picture, which is the Clinton campaign hired Perkins Coie law firm, who then went out and hired a bunch of people to create this false narrative that Trump was colluding with Russia, and then they peddled that story to the press and to the FBI. So much so that Zussman went to Jim Baker, chief counsel at the FBI, handed him information. Baker passes it on to Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and Andy McCabe, who are running the investigation. That's ridiculous, and it was all false. So Durham gets the big picture. It's also important that the false statement to the FBI wasn't a false statement made to Durham and his investigative team. No, it was the false statement that Zussman made to Baker clear back in 2016 when they launched this whole thing. So I think that's really important, that Durham, I think, fully understands what took place here, and he is trying to do what he can to get to the bottom of it and hold people accountable. Relative to the FISA, 183 applications, FISA applications, did not have the Woods file, which is the underlying supporting evidence you need when you go to the FISA court. 183 of them. Chris Wray told us a year and a half ago, we can sleep well at night knowing the FISA process is under control. Really? Mr. Horowitz just gave us this report yesterday. It says 183 times you went to the FISA court with an application that was not properly supported.
Well, let me ask you, I mean, this indictment, is it casting the FBI as a victim? I mean, look, we keep seeing missteps at the FBI, and Christopher Wray is still running things.
I think it's too early to tell.
I know that special counsel John Durham issued a fresh round of subpoenas targeting Perkins Coie. Your thoughts? I know that also Devin Nunes sent Durham 14 criminal referrals. 14.
Yeah, look, I'm cautiously optimistic based on the Zussman indictment. It's 27 pages. The opening sentence talks about what the media was reporting in the week before the 2016 election. So again, that's why I feel like he fully gets the complete picture here. We'll just have to see. But I do think it's kind of interesting. Did Jim Baker really not know that Zussman, working at Perkins Coie, was representing the Clinton campaign when he brought the information to him and he passed it on to Strzok and Page and the people doing the investigation? I find that kind of hard to believe, because we actually, Mark Meadows and I had a chance to depose Jim Baker a couple years ago. We'll just have to wait and see. But I am cautiously optimistic that Mr. Durham is in fact fully understands the full picture and is in fact going to hold people accountable.
Well, I appreciate all you've done. As you know, I never fell for it. That hoax, that created story about Russia collusion. And it was thanks to people like you, yourself, and your colleagues who've done a great job truth-telling.
Well,
so thank you, Congressman.
You too.
We'll catch up soon.
You too, Maria. Thank you for
sir.
your work.